Hey, and welcome back to The Wicked Wild, where this week we're going to review a movie that reassured me and reminded me how obnoxious leet speak movie titles were, and how glad I am that they're gone. Other than those few movies that are just try hard pieces of garbage anyway. Mathregan, I'm looking at you. So before we get into it, let's talk to our guest. But I did want to kind of explain. 13 Ghosts is a movie that we're going to have a good discussion about. We understand that our podcast episode is coming out on September 11th. We wanted to pick a movie that came out in 2001. So this was the Halloween, like this came out on the 29th or something. This was the Halloween darling for 2001. So we thought it'd be fun to go back in time freaking 22 years ago, which I can't even get my head around, and talk about a movie that maybe had a big impact on us. Also, this is the movie that some of our hosts really have strong feelings about. If you're watching the YouTube video, you might know who I'm talking about, but let's talk to them first. Starting with Eli, my Pennsylvania northern brother.
I'm not. Listen, I was transplanted. Okay, man. I'm not northern, man. I was born and raised below the Mason Dixon.
So while I'm watching this movie, I had a reaction to one of the characters in it. Um, and I just had to bring it out to you. Cyrus Kritikos, full on, full mulking energy. Am I
Listen,
right?
I've had that thought. Like my life could go one of many ways.
Exactly. This is
Right?
one of them.
There's a good chance I could be leading a very odd cult one day. There's a really good chance that I could fall into the occult, create a ghost trapping house, and decide that I'm going to use it to open the gates of hell to see the future. Maybe. I don't know. It could happen. I also could be in a commune just doing my research into things. I don't know what path I'm on. Yes, is this a potential future, Eli? Sure is. It sure is.
At least you're keeping your yes on the table.
Listen, I'm just saying this, right? If I that's what I look forward to, looking that good in a 3-piece suit, and I get to use a cane, not gonna complain.
Oh yeah, when I hit anything above 60, I'm walking with a cane, whether I need it or not.
Especially one with like a diamond on top or whatever he had on the thing.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's gonna have a brass skull head on it.
I come up with ghost seeing technology. Like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll be that guy.
That's what I was thinking. Well, as I was watching him, let's just forego all of the moral and ethical quandary issues with him.
Right.
He had a mulking thing going.
Listen, I've been on quote to say, like, a lot of times be like, oh yeah, that could be me. I've also been like, if Charles Manson wasn't a weird, creepy cult murderer, I may also could go that route. I'm just saying, I say a lot of stuff and I talk fast. You know what I mean? And this guy said a lot of stuff.
He just talks slower.
Just talks a little slower. Yeah. But if I was trying to open the gates of hell with this very complex ghost plan, I may talk slow too.
Fair enough. And then we've got John, our Detroit, Michigan native. How's it going up there, John?
It's going. I don't want to bother to date the episode when we recorded, but it's a little bit warm.
It's a little bit on the hot side. I understand. And this is another one that I just had a reaction to because it brought back a lot of memories for me too. But I was thinking back because I know what your age is compared to my age. So this was a very formative time in your life. Honest, going to put you on blast. How many Shannon Elizabeth posters did you have in your bedroom?
I was so late to that party, man. I was aware of her in her.
You were aware of her, sure.
But no, I wasn't the type of guy that put up girly posters in his room. That wasn't my thing.
Sounds like you're saying she's not really your flavor.
I'll say it.
I was stunned. I did not remember her to be. I don't know. I did notice that she had like no hips. I was like, what? Really? Like, she was just like, I was like, okay, but I get it. I found it very interesting. She's part Lebanese, and the actor Tony Shalhoub played her father is also Lebanese. I'm like, okay, so we're trying to, stay within canon, I guess, of our actors, but no, Elizabeth. I mean, everybody loved Elizabeth. Everybody did.
I have not thought about her in a decade or better. And I saw it. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, she was a thing for sure. Yeah.
And we all can tell why she's not a thing now.
Yeah.
She's a poker pro, I think, the last time I heard.
Oh, really?
That I
I think she was on Celebrity Big Brother.
Okay.
Not a great actress. Real pretty, though.
And that voice you heard is our New Yorker, Jamie. How's it going, Jamie?
Hi. Oh,
So,
doing okay. Sorry. I was just confirming that she was on Celebrity Big Brother.
okay.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Is it confirmed? Are our facts straight?
Yeah.
So, Dennis or Stu? Who are you taking to prom?
Stu.
That's Dennis
Yeah,
was a lot.
duh.
He's a lot. He's
Well,
pretty high maintenance
Screen is what made people fall in love with him. So it's just gotta be Stu.
Yeah.
All the way.
I didn't even offer Shaggy. I figured Shaggy wasn't
No,
even.
I
in there.
never even saw those. So no.
Well, as we mentioned, the movie we watched this week is 13 Ghosts, and as you saw in my typing of the title, I refuse to type THIR13EN Ghost. That is just so obnoxious, and it blew my mind that IMDb would even do that. But apparently, that's the official title. Not going to do it. Jamie's got her rep on. I refuse to play their game. But before we get into the review section, we have big news I hear from the Wicked Whispers. Eli, what you got?
It's all done. It's all over. Game over, people. Listen,
You say that every week.
no, this is different. Like, listen, let me take my Mole King crown off, okay? And I'm gonna put on my people's hat because I'm just one of the people right now, okay? Put on my people's hat,
And we're screwed.
it's all fucked, okay? This is gonna kind of dance a little bit, but it is important because inevitably when you listen to this, it'll already be too late to do anything, anyways. This week, let's go a little back. If you've been noticing the last couple, I don't know, hundreds of my Wicked Whispers, I've been talking about the alien thing. And if you noticed last time, we talked about how all these whistleblowers came forward to Congress, active members of the intelligence community, and like Congress didn't really know what to do with it. Well, last week, they had enough support from members of the House that were so unsure what to do with it, and the Department of Defense and the Pentagon would not answer their letters or calls, so they went to the Pentagon. These House people who have top secret clearance, this is stuff they can know, went to the Pentagon and they were told, you don't have clearance. This is classified above your level, and we're not going to talk to you. And if you don't leave, we'll arrest you.
To the Senate.
To congressmen, to people from the House. So then they're like, they did not take too kindly of this. So they're like, we're going to go a little tit for tat. And they're like, we're going to have another hearing because we have 3 whistleblowers who's willing to talk to us. Now, one of the whistleblowers, I'm not going to get the names, there's just too much information here, was this guy that he was a pilot with the famous Tic Tac video that came out in 2019 that kind of started this with the New York Times article. That this UFO basically jammed his radar systems. That's what kind of started all this for their admitting. The other guy is this gentleman who's never seen a UFO, but he left the military to go into the private sector, and he was working with like airlines, and all these pilots were like, hey, when you were in the military, did you ever see anything? And he was like, no, did you? And they're like, I don't want to talk about it. So then he started talking to him and found out like all these commercial pilots have been seeing UFOs for years, but have not said anything because they would take their license. But the third guy, the nail in the coffin guy, was a gentleman who, as of just last year, was an intelligence officer for the U.S., filed a whistleblower report for all this stuff he saw, was going through the proper channels for the whistleblower report, started feeling threatened, so he went public to protect himself because he's an intelligence officer, like they're about to just like fucking cover it up. So he came forward, they had a hearing. Basically, the 3 takeaways, and granted, just so everybody knows, credible witness. He was cleared through the whistleblowing through the Intelligence Committee. He was cleared through the Whistleblower Act, meaning that he's not obviously making this up. He's not crazy, whatever, through the House. And when he went he went in front of the redaction board to make sure that there was nothing top national security shit that he couldn't say in front of there. And they approved what they told him, like, well, you can't say these certain things because they're for sure. The other stuff, yeah. And he's following the T so he doesn't get arrested because he thinks he's going to get hurt. Confirmed 3 things in this hearing. 1, the United States has known about these UFOs since the 1930s, and since the 1930s have actively been going and picking up these crashed UFOs. If they haven't, just they shot them down, or they've crash landed for whatever reason. That's a crazy one. Number 2, the U.S. government went into used money approved from Congress for other programs to funnel it through partnerships with the private sector so they could circumnavigate clearances and having to release information to Congress and have hurt and potentially kill people to prevent this knowledge from getting out. And then the third is that the U.S. has what they're calling non-Earth biologic material, which could be parts or a whole pilot of these crafts. And they're like, oh, are you talking about extraterrestrials? He goes, I don't want to say that because we think it could be interdimensional. What? What? Now,
For those that are just listening, just know Eli is giddy.
Listen, those are the 3 big takeaways, right? Now, this was in Congress.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
You know, people don't even know. This was in Congress. Now, I have watched many hearings, not just about UFOs, but things in my life. I've seen all the shenanigans. Here's how you know this was different than any other one. First off, no one gave a flying fuck if you're Republican or Democrat. That was the first hearing I think I've watched in months where that hasn't come up at all. No one was blaming Biden for shit. No one was blaming Republicans for shit. No one gave a fuck. 2, your boy Matt Gaetz, who skipped a hearing about Hunter Biden, which he's on like every one of them, was at this hearing.
Okay.
Was the most professional I've ever seen him, and then states that there was an incident in Florida, the reason he got involved, where this UFO, and he went and he had to do stuff to show him some evidence, and he says, I don't know what I saw, but it's not good. He goes, it is like I couldn't explain it to you if I tried. What? And then like you have some senators are like, I don't know. And then you had some senators like, what the fuck do we do with this? Because they're talking about, they're like, oh, tic-tac ships. The one guy acknowledged the square ships with the black centers, which is not something Congress has ever talked about before, but it's been in like the conspiracy channels, right? And then the other thing people started pulling up, like figures like Bob Lazar. They're like, this sounds a lot like some of the stuff he said. Fucking this happened, and it wasn't on the news. We're fucked, Dave. We're fucked.
Well, to quote Samuel L. Jackson, it's time to hold on to your butts.
And the best part was, mind you, this guy also hinted at that these aliens seem to be a little hostile towards us. That's another thing to put in your hat. If anybody's wondering, like, oh, this could be cool. They seem a little hostile towards us, is what they said.
Just another nugget they threw out there.
Yeah.
Hostile.
I'm watching this. I can't even begin to describe. I wish I'd recorded myself watching this, but I would have had to cut out sounds of me shitting myself every like 10 minutes because a line would be said. I'm like, what did he just say?
It always comes down to poop with Eli.
What was that? Listen, this is no laughing matter, John.
I mean, we're still here, right?
Look, I'm not going to say that last year through this show we ushered in a new intergalactic renaissance, but I'm not going to say that.
Wait,
are you interdimensional though, Dave? Not just
that's true. Sorry,
it could be interdimensional.
Don't want to put it in a bottle.
I mean, listen. Whatever like how unless we find out this is a complete and total scam, which like by the government, which in of itself
Has never happened.
Listen, which in of itself would be a crazy thing that it was so blatant, right? But I don't think people realize yet, like, what happened at this hearing may be one of those historic days, or it for sure, one way or the other, is going to be one of the most historic days in the U.S. of the modern century, for sure.
You think it might live in infamy?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I don't.
Since no one's talking about it but you, Eli, so I don't know how it could live in infamy.
We've given you the platform
Listen,
we have.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's not on the news. I expect as much. But two of these three points that I said, these have been the basis of conspiracy theories in the US since like the 50s. Like these are the big, and you would think that like this would be conspiracy theorist happy dance time. They were right. No, you go look, and these assholes are like, you know what? We were wrong before. This is a different conspiracy. Because they admitted it, now they're lying, and there never was. They're just trying to unite us. And I'm like, what? I just can't do it. I can't do it with these people anymore. I'm a lone man on an island looking for the truth. That's what I am.
Serious question. How many times a day do you think Tom DeLonge is having to change his pants at this point?
So here's the other thing, too, that you have to remember right in this hearing. They brought him up because he was one of the people that put a lot of money into this to get this started. They brought up Mr. Bigelow, who was heavily involved in this project. If you don't remember that name, that's a gentleman who owns Skinwalker Ranch. Now working for the government because of aliens. And he owns Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
And then you have the two journalists, the one guy who they thanked him in the hearing. He's been reporting on this shit since like the 70s. Everybody thought this guy was a nut. And Congress was thanking him because he's he's protecting these whistleblowers who are convinced the military is trying to kill them. This was said in a House hearing.
Eli is literally hanging from the joist at this point.
This is happening, people. Not a drill.
If you haven't heard it already and you want more information about the alien revelations, we did do a special report on this back in August. So you can go look that one up. We go into
if it's not too late, you people aren't even listening to this. It could be done. It's over. This is playing on a dusty skull.
I just hope Will Smith's ready to like get in a jet plane.
Welcome to Earth. All right, so back on the movie review side of things, let's get into 13 Ghosts here. As we do on the show, we like to open with a quick on-the-fly synopsis. That's where I ask one of our co-hosts a question that picks who has to give the synopsis. Nobody knows. It's kind of it's how we play on the edge of chaos. So last movie review, if you remember, Eli was the synopsizer. So he's going to be my questioned person this week. Have an interesting one for him. So Eli, you have to choose one of these ghosts from this movie to be haunted by for the rest of your life. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be the Jackal, Hammer, or Tony Shalhoub?
Yes.
All three of these are terrible ghosts to be haunted by.
It's true.
For very different reasons.
For a very different reason.
You gotta pick the best one, though.
I think I want to pick the one that I'm pretty sure I could win in a fight with.
So.
That's who I'm going to pick because, like, Tony Shalhoub, I don't think could fight his way out of wet toilet paper. So I would go with Tony Shalhoub.
Okay, well, as the crotchety old dad of the show, that would be me. So as I mentioned, this is a movie from 2001. It is a remake or an homage, at least, and we'll get into it in more detail, of a movie that came out in the 60s by the famous Harry Castle, who did a lot
based on a book.
Yeah. So Harry Castle was the famous guy who did a lot of gimmick cinema, with the theater set up to do different things. So anyway, the synopsis of this movie is you've got a diabolical megalomaniac cultist who has decided he's going to design and build a house that could be made into the portal of hell. It's pretty much the same guy who built the high rise in Ghostbusters. Same vibe, same thing going on there. So part of that is that he has to capture 13 or 12 ghosts, 13 officially. So he hires a medium who is played by Matthew Lillard as Dennis, who is just apparently tortured by the Sixth Sense kid as an adult. He's just having a really hard time dealing with his astral abilities. So he helps him round up the 12 ghosts. It's shown that the old maniacal leader dies in one of the ghost hunts. So we cut to his nephew and his family who have fallen on bad times, where he sends them through his will to the house. We know bad things are going to happen. Chaos ensues. Beautiful makeup design and effects. Beautiful set design. What happens in the end is something we're going to talk about, because I really don't know what else to say about this movie. Once we're in the house, it's pretty much a fun house ride.
Yeah, you don't have to say. Yeah, it's not.
So we're going to open with John. John, did you see this in theaters?
I did not. This was a first time watch for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never seen it. And at that time, I was really not going to the movies that much. I spent most of my weekends in nightclubs and working in those nightclubs and just going crazy about DJing. And then I eventually got back to movies. And I never came back to this one, because this is not, like, to me, this is not a great time for movies, in my opinion. The late 90s, early 2000s, not one of my favorite periods, but there are some good ones in there.
Like Blair Witch.
No, that one does not make the list, Dave.
Sorry, you cut out on me, John.
He said top 10, right, Dave? He said top 10. I heard. Yeah, top 10. Easily.
Top 10 worst.
Top 10 best? Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I'm glad you and I agree.
The worst. But anyways, no. So yeah, this is the first time watch for me. It was interesting. And one thing I really liked about it is it's a time capsule of a movie. Absolute time capsule. You know exactly the era it was made. And you can see the names, you can see the faces. It's very weird that Tony Shalhoub is the nephew of, I can't even remember the actor's name that played
F. Scott Abraham.
There you go. Because they're like 5 years apart probably in real life. and then other than that, there's a lot going on in this movie that I think was probably in the script that they just cut, or they were expecting people to kind of have it picked up on the uptake. Because I mean, it's pretty much like, I'm pretty sure he murdered his nephew's wife. Pretty much
says that.
Yeah, and it's just like, that didn't come across real clear. I actually watched this movie twice just because.
When does it say he murdered her? It says he took her ghost.
Well, it's implied that he started the hospital fire.
She did. She died in the house, not in the hospital.
But it's not the hospital fire. It's implied that he was just he caused that. Like maybe they're messing with her equipment or something.
At least it was. I felt it, like Eli said. I felt it was implied that he intentionally set him and her up for them to both be the ghosts that he needed to create the portal to hell. Like, that was, at least that's what I picked up on. It could have been there, could not have been there. I don't know, but I have to say Matthew Lillard does not disappoint. Absolute delight in every single movie I've ever seen him in. I haven't seen the Scooby-Doo movies, but.
And this was primetime Lillard.
Oh, yeah. Ever since Hackers, I've been a Matthew Lillard fan. And then he came and screamed. I was like, this is great. And I had not known this whole time, he's actually a Michigan native. He's from the capital of our lovely state here.
And I think Jamie's met him, but from what I understand, he's a pretty decent human being too.
I met Skeet Ulrich, not.
That's what it was.
But people do rave about Matthew Lillard. He's, I mean, he does conventions. He's supposed to be.
Yeah, he's game for all that stuff.
Such a nice guy. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, John.
Oh no, you're good. No, I think the movie is, from this lens, okay. I would probably have been more into it if I'd seen it in the time. that it came out. It's a fun time capsule movie to go back to. It's okay. The one thing I absolutely loathe about this era in horror movies, though, is everything is brightly lit and you see everything.
It's all studio lighting. Yeah,
I do not like that. But yeah, the special effects were a little bit too comic booky for me in my personal taste, but they were pretty well done and they're very stylized of the era, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
No, oh man, that was the look, the daggers. Oh man,
I feel a retort coming. I can feel it in the air. But your honest opinion, your honest opinion. And I do have to edit myself. I said F. Scott Abraham. It's J. Murray Abraham.
yeah.
He's obviously not F. Scott Fitzgerald, so Dave's an idiot. But I will correct myself. Save y'all the time of typing it into the comments. J. Murray Abraham plays Cyrus. Anyway, so Jamie, it is your time to agree with John.
Yeah, right.
And tell me how wrong I am about everything.
I saw this in theaters because, of course, I did. It was a horror movie, and it had Matthew Lillard coming off of Scream and She's All That. I don't know if this was probably after the She's All That. That has to be late 90s. And loved him, loved Scream. I mean, Scream was one of my favorite movies. Still is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I had such an obsession with that movie as a teenager that like I would have seen anything. But do I remember my experience in theaters? No. I just know that I really enjoy this movie to this day. It's it is what it is. Is it corny? Yes. Does it have its moments? Yes. Is it a time capsule like John says? Yes. But it also is like silly and fun. It has some of my favorite, if you want to call them like horror creatures of today. And both of them are on my shirt. And it's the jackal, which I think a lot of people, it's the reason it is the main focus of this t-shirt is the jackal. It's the jackal and the angry princess. I fucking love her too. But I like every time I watch it, I forget the designs of the other ones. Like those two are in my head because they're like my favorites. And then you watch and you're like, oh yeah, that like the torso is pretty goddamn cool. This thing's pretty cool. It also has one of my favorite horror tropes in it, which is the dissection trope, which can happen for me in any way. It could be the Resident Evil X and slice you into cubes, or it can be this one, which slices you right down the fucking center,
which was all around this same time.
Vertically. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it's funny because when I was finishing watching this, Hulu, HBO, wherever it was on, recommended next to me Ghost Ship, which opens with that trope also, which I can never tell you what that movie is about, but I could tell you the beginning of that movie because everybody loves the beginning.
Yep, same director. Same director.
Don't forget. Is it? That's why I didn't even realize.
Now,
what was that
favorite?
Okay.
I was just gonna say my favorite bisection effect is in the cell.
I was not just about to bring that up.
I mean, it's
Jenny on the
horrible,
block.
but it's so gorgeous. Yeah.
That's literally what I was getting ready to bring up.
Anyway, my complaint in most movies, I will call myself out, is that there's not enough deaths. I agree in this one. Like for all the fun characters we have of the monsters, of the ghosts. Sorry, I keep going. There should be more. I guess we were in a time where we keep the whole family alive, which I couldn't give two shits about. And to be honest, fucking Maggie should have died at least 8 times in this movie because she drove me fucking insane and I don't know her purpose. And we'll even get into that. She seems like the most nonsensical she's getting paid to do absolutely nothing for a family that has no
teacher.
Money. Anyway, so yeah, there could be more deaths. There could be more of that, but I think it makes up for it. It's not like it's like a long movie where you have to sit through tedious this, that, and wish for more. So we'll get into it. I've seen the original that bores me to hell. So this one is just way more fun. And when you have
it's a 60s popcorn movie.
Yeah. So I don't have much to say. It's again, it's not something that you get deep into. It's just a fun, visually appealing, silly movie. There's so many plot holes in this movie that I'm sure we'll touch on some of them, but I don't even care because who's taking this I'm taking this at face value and looking at these creatures and hoping that the jackal I wish would rip someone else apart, but
wreck somebody.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, Eli, I've got to make a request. It's time to take your human hat back off, put the Moken crown back on, and lay into it.
So believe it or not, where I grew up, this movie I rented at the local country store. This is when they first started carrying DVDs
Ooh.
instead of VHS. This is like my first DVD rental from the local country store. So I went
A
down.
sweet time in every young man's life.
Oh, Friday nights, Friday nights, ride down, grab a couple hot pepperoni rolls, bag of chips, and a Mountain Dew. Normally I'd rent a VHS, but this time I'm like, oh, they got these DVD. You could also rent the DVD player because we didn't have one. So I
Ooh,
rented the DVD player as well.
That's like a $50 weekend.
Wait,
man.
so every time you wanted to watch a movie, you had to rent a DVD player?
No, so they only had VHSs, and actually I didn't have to pay for the DVD rental because I was, or the DVD player rental because I was friend with the owner's grandson. So
okay, all right.
And then after that, we saved up and got a DVD player.
Okay.
But no, before that, it was always VHSs. I mean, this store didn't start carrying DVDs till like 10 years after they started coming out. Because DVDs started coming out, like 96, 97?
No idea. That was not really.
But
PlayStation 2.
I enjoy this movie. I like the Ghost a lot. I like the Ghost so much because first time on DVD, I saw these like special features. I was like, oh, what is this? And the DVD had a special feature where it had this cool, like you went through the book and you could click on each ghost.
I remember that.
Yeah, you could click on each ghost and it would tell you like the backstory of the actual person and what happened to them and stuff. Like I really like this movie, and which based on because it kind of came from that time. It has that very kind of like 40s, 50s occult style feel to it. I always enjoy those because like those are all based off of basically like Edgar Allan Poe. That's a lot of like Poe's kind of stories or like some Lovecraft. So I always kind of enjoy that occult stuff. So I do like it. Granted, like I like Matthew Lowe's character a lot. His character's good. Solomon's character is cool. Tony Shalhoub and his whole family could literally not be in this movie and I won't give a fuck. The only reason Tony Shalhoub was in this because Monk was popular, so he was the draw. And like, which is not a sentence I ever thought I'd say again in my life. Tony Shalhoub is a draw. Monk fucking sucked. He sucks. Who gives a shit?
Like, as a human being?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's fine.
Well, Matthew Lillard must have been a draw too, no? Coming off Scream and stuff. He must have been. Okay.
Well,
he must have been in all the commercials for it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, I just watched an interview. This is one of the reasons he wasn't in Scream 3. So there's a little trivia for you. Because they were people didn't really like the ending and they were going to jam him in as the actual killer at the end of Scream 3. And they were going back and forth. And then he started doing this. And then they're like, okay, fuck it. I guess we're just stuck with the brother. Anyways.
And something we've talked about in other movies, but I would consider his role in this actual stunt casting. Like he was put in this to bring in the Scream crowd.
Yeah. Right. Oh no, for sure. So I like that part. I like the quality stuff, but like, the family don't give a fuck. At the end, they could have killed Tony Shalhoub and his whole family, and I'd be like, okay, whatever, fuck Tony Shalhoub, whatever. But even like the design of the house, like it was very 2000, early 2000s, but like even the design of the house was kind of cool, and like it was like all the glass and like the Enochian writing and stuff, like I like that stuff. Like I said, it's like the plot there, like for like the family shit. No, is the family good? No. What was the point of a lot of them characters? I don't know. But the ghosts look fucking cool.
Yeah.
The ghosts look fucking cool. And like even like I remember even too, like the fucking jackal was scary as shit. The hammer scary as shit. I can't remember what the ghost name, but the fucking junkyard dog.
The Juggernaut. He's on this shirt. So you can tell who the favorites are because it's a huge jackal picture, and then it's the angry princess, the Juggernaut, and Matthew Lillard.
Yeah. So like that was cool. Like the princess was cool. The boy with the arrow in his head. Yeah, like fucking like that. Like all the designs looked really cool, and like it was like all of it looked like I don't know. I do enjoy it, and I still enjoy watching it. And like now, as I watch it now, I like to put it on the background so I can not watch any of the because like that scene in the beginning with Tony Shalhoub and his family.
Oh my God, at the breakfast table.
It may only be 5 minutes long.
It doesn't matter.
It's a terrible. Fucking eternity.
It's rough.
And like they live in an apartment. Like, yeah, they're crammed or whatever. But like when they get in that house, and instead of being like, oh my God, the walls are made of glass, and like what's this writing? And look at all this stuff. That fucking hillbilly's like, there's a shower. I was like, oh fuck you, Shin, whatever your name is. Fuck you. But yeah, so you know what? I besides like the shitty characters, like I really always have a fun time to watch this, and it's special to my heart because it was my first DVD rental. So do with that
Fair
what you
enough.
will.
So for me, this is a movie that I do have a clear memory of because as I mentioned at the top of the episode, this was a big year, and with what had just literally happened in our country with September 11th, we were all kind of confused and scared as a country, and there was a lot of things happening around the world. And me and a good friend of mine decided to go see this. We needed something in October to have some sort of normalcy, so we were trying to pick a horror movie to watch. So we went to in Memphis, one of the big Galleria theaters, and made a whole kind of evening of going and seeing 13 Ghosts. And we had a blast. We talked about it, and it was a movie that I loved having that theater experience with because the theater was packed because I think everybody was sort of in the same boat. We needed some sort of turn your mind off or some sort of escapism that we were all experiencing. So I remember the theater was packed. People were throwing popcorn and laughing and really into the movie. But I haven't seen this movie in over a decade, like I said. And this last watch was hard for me. It just, when I watched it, it did not hit at all. And full transparency, part of that is because Dave has the flu right now in the middle of the hardest part of the year, which is already miserable. And it was hard for me to get my head clear enough to really focus. I fell asleep the first time I tried to watch it this week. The second time, when I forced myself to go back and watch the whole thing, so I had a full through line, I just kept getting bored. I could not stay focused. And I think and all three of you have mentioned this, there's really nothing to hang on to. Like there's not a plot thread or a story or a character development. It really is an effects reel. I mean, this is a makeup studios effects reel is what this movie is. And at that time, and I still have a clear memory, at that time, that was really all I needed. I needed something to get me into the October spooky season vibe. It was gorgeous. It had all these cool things. I did enjoy, even in this last watch, I did enjoy being reminded that horror as a genre had gotten its hand on this cool new tool, which was CGI, and they were still figuring out what fun things they could do with it, how to use it. And I think this movie, to its credit, at that time, it did a really good job with something that a lot of other horror movies from this time didn't do, of balancing practical effects and digital effects, because you had really great practical set design and character design, and then you just enhance that with these, like the churning gears and stuff where it wasn't practical to build them. So it did do a good job with the effects. I totally give it that. The effects team did a great job. But in this last watch, I had a really hard time staying focused on it. But that doesn't take anything away from some of the best character design, to your point, Jamie, some of the best horror characters of the early noughties that came out at that time. But there's really no weight or story. The problem with having 12 different ghosts is that there's no way in hell you're going to flesh any of them out, because there's 12 of them. You're not going to be able to get in the story. And to the point you made earlier, Eli, I do remember that in the DVD, which I owned, that you had the stories for each of those different characters, which I read some of them, like, man, I would have liked to seen that movie.
Yeah.
Just with one of them. Just if you just did a movie about the hunt for one of these 12, that would have been a great movie. And maybe that's something that if they ever rebooted this, that they could do. They could kind of build it out, or even build it out as a TV
12
series.
Of them.
Exactly.
13. You make a 13 because in the 13th is the actual 13 Ghost movie. Jamie, TM, hashtag Trucies. We're making those fucking movies.
Oh,
we're going to make all 13 of them. And the 13th one will be 2 parts. Fuck you, Harry Potter and Twilight. We get still money too. That's what we're doing.
The only other things I'll say before we get into questions is in this last watch, Matthew Lillard was, he had gone full melodrama, Young and the Restless, overacting for this. And I'm not sure why. I think if he had dialed it back 30%, that character could have been a lot more compelling. But right down to the end where he takes his glasses off and he nods to.
But are you misremembering Matthew Lillard in the late 90s? Because
every movie.
Do you remember Scream? He spits in Scream also. Like, he is always over.
Yeah, well, but in Scream,
Overacting.
he's a high school student. They're all freaking
Okay,
idiots.
fine. But
Hey, let's be honest, Dave. I love Matthew Lillard. Love the man. He's a national treasure. But when he's in a movie, he's not playing the character. He's playing Matthew Lillard dressed up like that character. Who was Shaggy? It was Matthew Lillard being Shaggy. Scream. It was Matthew Lillard being a killer. Like, it's not like, oh, he was Matthew Lillard every movie.
It's all fair. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's I have not watched, just to be totally transparent, a Matthew Lillard movie other than Scream. I watch Scream almost every year. But again, to that point, that character makes perfect sense because he is a high school, self-conscious, yes man too, his partner in crime there. So it makes sense that he's overcompensating with his behavior.
Lump him with the greats. Christopher Walken in every movie.
there's a lot of people like this.
Crispin Glover,
Keanu Reeves, Tommy Lee Jones. I can go on all day. They're all they just play themselves in every movie. The only difference is they change the clothes, change the facial hair, and they just say stuff they might not normally say, but as themselves. And that's why we love them.
That's right.
We don't really have those actors anymore. You know what I mean? We're missing those in the world.
Fair enough. I don't know if we're missing them, but they are.
Vin Diesel, Jason Statham. I mean,
our technically 14 film series, we should hire these people to be in these movies, right? So like Matthew Lillard, he plays Matthew Lillard again. We'll make Tommy Lee Jones one of the ghosts because he looks like the Crypt Keeper anyways.
You good.
Oh my God. Hashtag copyright TM twin.
Eli, what did you eat before you got on the show?
Aliens.
Listen, man. I barely slept this week. I literally, I keep telling my wife, I'm like, listen, we seriously might want to consider getting like a little thing of land, like a cabin somewhere out in the woods, somewhere that if we had to get rid of our electronics, we could easily. She says I'm overreacting. I'm just saying, I've seen signs. We should be near water.
I'm telling you, and we're not going back to the beginning of this episode, but I'm telling you in 2023, you're not getting away no matter where you go. So let's move on.
Aliens aren't going to go in the woods. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows it.
That is my overall thoughts on it. Yes, as an effects movie, this is still a lot of fun. Other than that, it really didn't keep my attention. So it may be another decade before I watch it again. But I have it on DVD, so I can watch it anytime.
Yeah, I think that's why most people watch it, though, is an effects movie. I mean, that's what Eli said. It's kind of what I meant when I said how much fun it is. It's not like the plot, like you all said. First of all, the plot's nonsensical. The one that is there, the very loose plot that's there is absolutely nonsensical. So... Yeah.
And the dialogue is horrible, and we're going to talk about that. So I did a little digging on that.
Most of it goes to Maggie, the horrible dialogue. Let's just throw that out there. Who couldn't die fast enough and does not fucking die.
Like honestly, this movie was probably out of its time. Like I think if you got like a decent horror director to make it today, one, they're going to go like 2 hours, maybe potentially 2.5, which would allow them to flesh out a lot of that stuff better. Two, Tony Shalhoub doesn't act anymore, thank God, so he's not going to be in it. And like you could maybe get a better cast in it and stuff like that.
You really beef with Tony Shalhoub.
Listen, I don't know why you don't like him
he seems
so
like a nice guy, but he's
cares?
terrible. He's terrible. There's not a lot of them, but there are a few actors and actresses and people on TV in this world that are my mortal enemies if they know it or not. All right?
You know he's married to Kerry Russell, right?
That explains a lot. That explains a lot.
That was fake news. Sorry.
Well, you know what? They should meet. Let's put the worst together. We can put them into somewhere and just forget about them.
What I wanted to know was if Tony Shalhoub was like, and there's only one reason. I know you have this, like, he was there to me. I was going to say he's fine. He's not, he's there. The rest of the family to me was more offensive. His daughter and son and Maggie are way worse than he was in the movie. But I was wondering if he was like phoning it in because twice in the movie, when his son is missing, he says the kid. And it felt like an actor not even remembering that the character is his son.
Just refused to remember his name.
Yeah, he's literally like, we have to go look for the kid. And I'm like, it's your fucking son. The kid. Yeah. It's like, who is that dude? Who is he? Like, I literally wrote down because he said it not once, but twice. We need to go find, once I find the kid, he said, And I'm just like,
He's the same way though. Any role you see Tony Shalhoub in, he's fucking Tony Shalhoub.
yeah, it's a lot of actors actually. That
Well,
argument would go for a
but, like,
lot of
if
actors.
you look at the
are
way he says,
typecast
like,
in
well,
there.
right, but like, but even with him, like, if you look at the way he says lines and like the way he does stuff, he like does it the same way. Like when he's like, we gotta look for the kid, like says like that. He uses that voice that look for a fucking clue every episode of Monk.
I've never watched Monk.
It's
so I don't know.
atrocious.
Why did you watch it?
Because I was living with somebody at the time who that's all they would fucking watch, and I hated it. And like
Anyway,
Now
or-
it makes sense. You were
or if,
tortured
like-
with
yeah,
Tony
now
Shalhoub.
we
was.
know why he
or
hates
if like
Tony
Men in
Shalhoub.
Black, when he's like he was just doing the same like but like in a squeakier voice, like that's just how he is. Like he's not good. And this was definitely a paycheck because he had that Monk money at the time, so he didn't really need to do this. But he's like,
Yeah, it's an extra.
fuck it, I need a new Tony Shalhoub suit.
He was pretty
Uh,
great in Wings. I mean,
That's where I first saw him as
Yeah.
a kid. Yeah.
but
Sure,
he was used sparingly in that.
Yeah,
but he
was,
wasn't a
right?
main character.
He was-
Like he,
No, he was a comic relief, wasn't
Right,
he? I mean, the show was a comedy, but
Yeah.
yeah, and he's a clown, so it worked out perfect for that show.
All right.
That's all I
so-
say about Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't believe you, but we'll go further and see
Shouldn't.
if we
You
trigger
shouldn't.
you again. So, John, what were you about to say?
I was just gonna say, I know how much Jamie loved Maggie in this movie, just like we all did, and she's probably arguably the best actress in this movie. Sadly, this was like her last feature film until
Good.
2023.
Oh
She
no.
came back, but before this, and I know how much you guys love witchy movies. And if you ever wanted to watch like a Blair Witch, like I would say sister project, she was in a movie, The Hip Hop Witch, that we may need to watch.
No, we may not.
It's about 5 white kids that get lost in the hood looking for the hip hop witch.
Listen,
That seems problematic. It's a
I
90s
don't
movie, I'm
think-
assuming.
Yeah, it
2000.
seems very problematic.
Okay.
And I don't know her, I don't think, but I know that I don't want to see her in anything else because of how insufferable she was in
They
this
should-
movie.
But doesn't she come from the music industry? I mean, that's where she came from, right?
Well, yeah, it looks like she worked with Busta Rhymes on some stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's I just saw she's from a hip hop group. Yeah, I don't know. That's what it says. Yeah, I don't know if we were still talking about, like, I want to talk about the fucking house if we can for a minute because
100%.
okay.
Yeah.
So I have some questions about this house, or even just the set. design.
Totally practical.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure every time they go either upstairs or downstairs in the movie, like they're still on the same floor, right? Because
Yeah.
but I don't even mean, sorry, I don't mean in actuality because they're not going to build it multi-tier. But even in this movie, I think they forget what floor they're on because they literally at one point go downstairs, but then they run into the library with everybody else. And I was like, you assholes were just with the ghosts in the cubes, which are supposed to be in the basement. And then all of a sudden it's just like they run right into the next room where everybody is. And they did this numerous times in this movie, I think. And I also, for something that was such a complicated, if nobody's ever seen it, the whole house is like mechanical and shifts and move, like the doors open and close and things like that. And it's on like these big gears and whatever. And like you do one thing and all these walls kind of shift and doors kind of close. Somehow though, twice in this movie, it's super easy to just remove panels in this house. That's like a lock box that you can't get in and out of.
Yeah.
But they
Which are
remove
these double pane safety glass
you can't
panes
hear.
that
You
are
right?
like
They say you can't
500
hear through
pounds
it.
each.
Yeah, you can't shoot through it. It's bulletproof. It's soundproof. But yet they just move one panel to go up a flight, like instead of going up the
Mhm.
stairs. And then at one point he decides to carry the whole
Sure.
glass with him through the whole downstairs
Yeah.
of the house.
You've never
Because
done
it's
that?
that easy to pull off the tracks
Yeah.
that attach it to the rest of the house.
I mean-
It's so dumb, but those things annoyed me so much because of the
Uh-huh.
design. Like this house is supposed to be such a complex mechanism,
But you can pull it apart with
but you
your
can pull it apart. It's like you pull a thread and the whole thing falls apart like the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
The other thing I had was a practical idea of what kind of living hell would it be to live in a glass house and try and do
Oh,
anything private? Like,
Anything. That's
go to the
first-
bathroom,
like,
take a shower.
they get so excited to see this house. I literally wrote down, I wouldn't call this beautiful because they all say how beautiful
Yeah,
it is. And
same.
I'm like,
This is a
would be
nightmare.
the worst, even though they're very clear to say that it's the middle of nowhere. They said at least twice that nobody's like spying on you while
Mhm.
you're in the bathroom.
But listen,
But
like
But the other people in the house are still
Yeah.
there.
Well, the bathroom was frosted. At least the
Yeah.
one she went into was frosted. I made note of that this time. But like,
I mean, why'd you expect more from it when she saw that shower, act like she never saw running water before?
I know, it was very weird. Well, no, I think because she assumed it was her private bath, and
Yeah.
and girls get excited about that. Eli,
Nope.
don't you know
They're
that?
just. I'm just assuming that Johnny Shalhoub's family is a bunch of hillbillies. That's what I'm assuming.
And in that scene, I was totally confused because the music changed and the angles changed. I'm like, is she about to take a friggin' shower in the middle of this scene?
It's
Because they were
weird.
setting, and then obviously it was the Angry Princess who was the body moment in that. But I'm like, what is happening right now? Why is she doing that?
What's interesting in this movie, though, or I guess actually it's just that scene, so never mind. But they like that scene again. I love the princess, and more power to that chick for being naked the whole movie and whatever. Like, if I assume it's her real boobs, I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Well, that's like if you look, because I remember it. Like, her makeup took the longest out of all of them because it was on her real body, so everything had to be done by hand. Like,
on her body, yeah, and it is throughout most her. It is her body. They don't, they don't show her lower area, but they show her breast the whole time. This poor girl is walking around naked. But like,
yeah, she went full trash.
Yeah, she did. That scene is weird to me, like watching it because you do that in a movie where I guess kind of like you died in that room, but like she didn't actually die there, but yet like they do a whole setup like she did. It's just, I mean, I get it, whatever. It was all for the cool visual, but it's like it's like as if she died there, but she didn't.
Exactly.
And nobody could see it. So
taking a bloody bath in there.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a weird, but whatever.
You know
it's
what
cool.
you know what you're doing? You're thinking about it.
I know I am. I'm thinking, well, that's what I thought we were supposed to do, but I'm going backwards. I don't want to.
It was 2001 and it was an opportunity to put two attractive women in a bathroom scene together. That's pretty much all of it. And little side note, which I found interesting, the Angry Princess was played by Shauna Lawyer. This is her only credit ever. So it's the only thing
good
she's
credit.
ever in.
Good for her. Yeah. I wonder what she did.
I mean, as far as horror fandom, I mean, she went down in the Hall of Fame. So
yeah,
I think
she's got it. She's got one of the coolest. Yeah, she's got one of the coolest characters.
Yeah, I know there was talk about doing a movie with the Angry Princess for a while, and I don't think they ever did it because she got like a cult following. And she was like all the conventions and stuff after this.
Mm-hmm. So to the point that you've made several times, Jamie, and something I want to talk about, because once I didn't go deep into the research, but it did make a lot of sense once I started putting it together. But this movie was obviously a production trash fire. Like, you could tell that the actors were fed up with it. I don't even know if they liked each other, but and what I found, the first thing that got to me is I was on IMDb, as I always do, and I was putting all the key credit people that I needed to reference for the show. This is how the writing credits for this movie goes. Story by Rob White. Screenplay 1, Neil Marshall Stevens. Screenplay 2, Richard D.O. Video. I'm probably butchering that. Screenplay 3, uncredited, Todd Alcott. Additional writing for Screenplay 4, uncredited, James friggin' Gunn.
Oh,
wow.
That blew my mind. So that's really tells you all you need to know about how horrible this situation was, which also gives me permission to forgive some of the hot garbage of dialogue and story, because it was just a patchwork from hell.
Frankenstein.
It's a mess. And to Eli saying it earlier, this is a movie that I think because it's all visual that I love and whatever, I kind of wouldn't mind someone redoing now, but the right person. Like, I don't need David Gordon Green or someone coming in here touching this fucking movie. Yeah. Maybe it's Damien Leone just because I love him. I don't know who it is, but it's someone
That'd be a good one
to come in and
who loves
do
effects.
This.
Yeah.
And do the same effect. I want them very similar, just more brutal and darker and maybe better.
Fetty.
Like just maybe Fetty. Yeah. But like, I don't know. This is a movie I don't think I would mind if the right person got their hands on it. Just to bring it into the 2020s or whatever.
It could be like, I think with time, and the right person, like this could be a really good, like give them a little bit of stuff to flesh it out, each one. Like it could be real, like it could be a really good remake. Mm-hmm. Not that now granted, I'm not one that keeps wanting remakes because
No,
Like,
same.
fucking
but
give me something new. But this is one of those ones where like I think the remake that they didn't really do it justice. Like
Mhm.
like the story wise, where like
Mhm.
you could do that and get away with it and make it darker, make it different enough.
Yeah, you can do
But-
something really fun with this movie though. Like
Right.
Yeah, you
really,
could.
really fun.
Or even you know what be you know what? Hold on, Jamie. Change of plans.
What are we writing now?
Instead of a 14-part movie,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
a miniseries.
Yeah. Essentially the same
This-
thing.
Netflix
This
series.
movie could do good, and like even I mean,
The
even
new
that-
Supernatural.
kind of. I'm thinking like the guy
That's
that
a good
did
idea.
the guy that did what was it, the fucking House on Haunted Hill or whatever, like
Oh,
the
I,
Mike
Netflix
Flanagan.
show.
I don't like
Mike
that
Flanagan.
guy though.
Yeah, but like he does some good stuff with ghosts. Like I think he could.
Not fun enough.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's too boring.
He'd
Well,
be too
maybe-
serious about it.
He's
Maybe
He's too
this
serious, he's too
will let
boring,
him like get a little juicy,
Creative?
let
I don't know.
let the flow go.
Maybe.
you know?
I think you need someone who loves to go batshit and just do like a
Yeah.
Like Rob
like-
Zombie.
Oh my
Oh,
god! I knew you were
God,
gonna
no.
say
I
that.
mean, unfortunately,
Quiet.
unfortunately, Sherry Moon would be every ghost.
Yeah.
but
Well, she'd be the princess. She'd be the
Yeah,
angry
no
princess,
question,
of
no
course.
question.
for sure.
Oh no,
Okay.
no, she can't unless the angry princess starts talking because we have to hear her obnoxious fucking voice. So
She would be the she'd for sure be the assistant, the person trying to shut the house down. That
fake,
turned out to betray them.
shutting the house
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Right.
That one that also
Yeah.
makes
The
no
double
sense. In
agent.
this
Oh,
movie.
the double twist or double
Because
cross.
she's in love with a weird old man who died in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Gross.
Made no sense whatsoever.
And why can he touch and everybody sees him? I'm not understand that.
'Cause he's
Was
not
he
really
He's not dead. He's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
dead.
okay. So I wasn't crazy. I'm
No,
like,
he's
so
faking
he's
his
not
death.
dead.
Yeah.
But he has to redo everything just
Yeah,
to
when-
show up because for
yeah.
some reason the dramatics are
Why?
important.
He's still got
Hey.
the prosthetic on from
Listen.
weeks ago.
When
That
you
thing's
got
got to reek.
listen, when you got fuck you money, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like if
Well-
you don't think Jeff Bezos wouldn't do shit like this, you're out of your mind. I guarantee you, Jeff Bezos. And hey, am I saying this on a podcast? Sure am, because fuck you, Jeff Bezos. If you don't think he doesn't have a cult ghost house somewhere in like fucking Seattle or wherever else he does his weird shit, he for sure does. The dude's not going to space because he wants to see the stars. He's looking for space ghosts.
He went
Everybody
to space.
knows it.
No, he went to space to meet with the aliens that are coming.
No, they
down
want
here.
they don't want no part of Bezos. You know what I mean?
I
Even
I
they look at him, they're like, ugh.
I could only assume in this is what I assume when I watch it is that like part of his convoluted, overcomplicated plan to get at 13 ghosts involved him pretending he was dead, but it just doesn't come to fruition based on whatever reasoning. He never even gets there because like even we had that moment where Tony Shalhoub like takes off. We have to know that even though we already know he's not fucking dead,
Right.
like we need to have the moment where Tony Shalhoub does the whole
Realizes
like,
it,
oh, you're
yeah.
here. So I'm just guessing part of his plan at some point was going to pretend to be a ghost to some degree. And
Oh,
do
I bet
something.
you there are many hours of this film laying on the cutting room floor.
I was going to say,
still.
which of the screen treatments
Yeah.
do you think that one would be, Jamie? Would it have been 2 or 3?
it was
or
in one.
one?
It was in somewhere.
Right.
And then they just
100%
left his
agree,
makeup
though,
on though, and they were just like, "Wait, let's just shoot the scene. Just shoot it.
Oh, that
We'll
guy.
do it live.
You're no
how-
longer a ghost, but just stay. That's fine. We're just editing
Apparently,
it."
when that guy's asked about 13 Ghosts, he literally goes, he goes, I only did it for the money. He's like, I needed money, so I did this movie. That's the only reason I did it. The guy plays Cyrus. He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck.
Oh, the
People
guy
like-
from Mythic Quest.
The guy played Song
Oh,
of
that's
Fire.
right,
yeah.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
from-
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That's most recently in my
Yeah,
head is
that's right.
Mythic Quest. He shows
But-
up in a lot of things, but
But anytime like anybody asks about this movie, they're like, "Oh, well, why did you do this?" He's like, "I did it for the money." No, did it for the
What
money.
else do you want to
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah, but not bad. I mean, honestly, like,
He-
okay, guys, it's not a great movie. We've all like agreed on that
Yeah,
point,
right.
but it's like it's in horror history and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
iconic for what it, and it's just like
And it's all around those characters. Those characters. is
exactly
what
though.
makes-
You go to a convention, you will see a jackal, if not
Yeah.
3 jackals, but you will see a jackal to this day at a
Mhm.
horror convention,
Yeah.
and it's just like.
Oh, I remember a haunted house I went to one year. The theme was like these different movies, like they were doing a movie theme year, and
mhm,
they had all of them there.
that's cool.
Yeah, which was really cool. They even had like Tony Shalhoub's wife, who I can only assume
It's the
was
most boring
thankful
one, yeah.
for the fire so she could get away from Tony Shalhoub. But But they had like all of theirs. Like
That's
like
cool.
people still like those ghosts. Like,
Yeah,
they're
I
cool
was just
ghosts.
thinking as I was rewatching it, how cool it would have been, and maybe it was years ago, but I didn't get to go. But how cool it would be as a Halloween Horror Nights house. Like,
Oh, yeah.
just because you're already built in with 12 characters, like you said,
Oh,
like
my
you're
God.
already built in
Why?
with 12.
Listen. I think you and I can do this, Jamie.
Wait, now we're
You-
making a Halloween Horror Nights house.
No, I'm thinking
Oh.
you and I can make the miniseries.
Oh, Justa, how many
13
characters
ghosts.
am I playing now? Because I don't think I could play all the ghosts.
Well, until we get funding, you're going to be all 13 ghosts.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to do nudity, but we'll see. Maybe
Well, no, you don't have to. Our angry princess
She
can
has
have
to
some
be
clothes on.
naked. I don't know. It's what makes her so cool. I hate to say that, but it is what makes her so fucking
What
cool.
if we
is
make
that
you
she's
kind of
just, like-
fuzzy? We'll make you
She
kind of fuzzy.
doesn't
You
care.
won't know. We'll see, or you know what we'll do? We'll CGI your head
onto
onto
her
her
body?
body. Yeah. And it won't be very good. It basically looks like Photoshop. But basically what we're doing is we're just doing a treatment. So
Okay.
Netflix is like, oh,
Oh,
wow.
are you going to do?
Great idea.
Is it Swedish? Are you going to do the Swedish film? You know, where they Sweden, where they recreate the movies. You ever, Dave? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I
Yeah.
do, but I'm not doing that. We're gonna do. Jamie and I are serious about our craft. Okay,
Wow.
Clearly,
we're
Clearly.
serious about our craft. We're literally just doing this so that way we can get the right amount of money and the right director, who obviously will have to listen to our creative notes.
Yeah, because
I think.
we know what we're
Right.
talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
It
So,
sounds
I mean,
like this is just the fundraising project that gets you to the real project, which is your Donkey Lady.
Oh, I won't be
Justice
part of
League
that.
thing.
I
that
won't be
you
part-
already
Oh, the
agreed
Justice
to
League,
play every character in that movie.
I'm sorry. What he was saying, Donkey Lady.
Well, she's a part of it.
I
No.
immediately.
Donkey
You
Lady's
switched up,
cool.
yeah.
Listen,
It's a good
I
instinct, Jamie.
listen. If
is this
anybody,
like the Dark Justice League, but in the Molten
right.
universe?
But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
if
we set
anybody,
up our- yeah.
if anybody out there like draws and like you want to make me a Donkey Lady T-shirt,
oh my
I'd wear that. I'd wear
Lord.
that with pride. I'd wear it with
Okay.
pride. I wanted Dave to do it, but Dave, you know, he's a snob and doesn't appreciate the fine aromas of the Donkey Lady lore. Is how I'll wear that.
You've seen where my priority for drawing has been this week. You know,
Yeah,
there
well-
are more important things for me to be drawing.
I mean, you don't think Donkey Lady like doesn't deserve a little time in the spotlight?
No.
I do
No.
not. No, I
Oh.
think I'm very clear on the record on that.
Wow.
But back to the movie.
Back to this movie.
You know, and to the point that you all were just discussing, and it is something that I did think about while I've been in this flu fugue for the last couple of days, because there was a movie that came out 9 years later that I think has similar bones to this. It didn't have nearly the production issues. First of all, this screenplay is a hot mess. We all agree with that. The only thing that saves this movie, and the fact that they're so good that they actually save a movie with this bad of a screenplay, really speaks to the effects team that put this together, are those freaking characters, the character design. Because until the DVD comes out, I don't even have any story to go with the characters. I just have a visual of the characters. I don't know why. And that's probably the thing that frustrated me the most in this last watch, is the ghosts don't have individual like characteristics. Like they all act like people in makeup. They don't have ghostly quote unquote powers, because they took that away because of the glass with the etchings on them. So they can't go through walls or anything. But they're not, they never came across as supernaturally dangerous. They just seem like people with hammers and claws and stuff like that. But when Cabin in the Woods came out, they had a huge zoo of things, but the way they made that work is, first they had a really tight script, great dialogue, great character development, but until you get to the act 3 kind of free for all, they focused on one of them. And I was thinking this movie would probably benefit of doing that. If you took the first half to 2/3 of the movie and really focused on how dangerous one of these freaking ghosts were, and then you opened up, oh shit, that now there's friggin' 12 of them, you're so screwed. I think I would have had a much better time and had probably a more fun reaction to that. Like if I spent time with the Juggernaut and how dangerous he was and how destructive he was, and then I get to this house where there's like 12 beings just as powerful, just as dangerous, I think I would have had a bigger time. So I say all that to say that's what I regret about this, is there's great characters. They're characters that are so good that they've way outkicked their coverage on their staying power within the horror community. People love them and love them for good reason. I wish they had had a little more story to go with them.
I do too, because they're just so cool. And I agree.
Mhm.
Like the most you get is the opening, which is the juggernaut, but you still get absolutely nothing. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
see that he's a force to be reckoned with. And then later it's just explained by Matthew Lillard that they all are, because right, they're just angry. They're wraiths
Yeah.
or whatever. And Eli could teach us about this, whatever, but like he doesn't even call them ghosts the first time. He tries to be more official and then has to explain in layman's terms, so as dummies, that they're ghosts, but they're super angry, and I forget how else he explains them, but like the meanest and the like he
Mhm.
literally says things like that for dummies.
Yeah.
Like
These are the
Tony
worst
Shalhoub.
ghosts on the planet.
But these
yeah.
are the worst. Yeah, but like, and then instead of giving us anything, not that they had time to, instead they just say their names twice, Dave. Like to your point, like they
Yeah.
go through the whole book saying what they're all called, and then we have to have it repeated in his head when he's counting them. Which why? When he's
Yeah.
sitting there going 1, 2, we've gone through this.
We
Tony
know.
Shalhoub.
Yeah.
There's 12 of them. Fucking 12. We've been
Listen,
through this.
that's because he's not smart enough to remember anything.
He's like 1, and we have
Which
to see
script
each
do you
one
think
go
that
around.
scene was shot for?
Yeah. You're right though, but now that you tell me all that,
Hmm?
the movie plot makes
Yeah.
more sense because
It's
things are
shattered,
coming from one screenplay versus the other screenplay. But besides the ghosts, which
Mhm.
are kind of cohesive, they just have no backstory. But other
Yeah,
than
and-
them, it's
Hmm.
just random things about random people.
Well, you
Yeah,
know, it's
and-
like
I was just going to say real quick, and then I'll let you have it.
No, no.
I was just going to say, because it's to the point Jamie made, the only reason that the jackal becomes, in our perception, like the
Yes.
biggest baddie is because of Matthew Lillard's first reaction to the jackal. It's like he has a reaction that the jackal is not to be effed with. But other than that, I don't have any reason to think the jackal, because when she attacked, or he or she, I can't really tell. It
I
doesn't
think
matter.
it's a she. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay,
Right?
yes.
Eli's shaking it. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
say he, but I think the jackal's a she.
Yeah. But
Well,
when
I
the
don't know
jackal
what she identifies
attacks,
as, but I
Yeah.
think she's,
Yeah.
I think it's a she.
But
I'm-
when the jackal attacks Shannon Elizabeth, it's almost like a chihuahua just clawing at her. It's not like she did anything malicious or mind blowing. She just ran at her
Yeah.
and clawed at it. But
I think that's supposed to be the fear.
no,
of the
I'm
jackal
sorry,
is
I
how-
got him mixed up with the torso.
Oh, the jackal's a
The
he.
jackal is a he.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like, I went back and forth on this one. I always called it a he, but then I was like, it might be a she.
Yeah, he
But I-
was the one that was burned to death in an asylum because they had him locked in that head cage, and the
Yeah,
asylum
so-
caught on fire. If I remember correctly.
The thing with him is like he does that attack twice, Dave, because he does the same thing on Tony Shalhoub then later. But I think and again, it's not questioning. I think the fear with him is supposed to be how, but then they all are how unpredictable. Like he just comes at
Exactly,
you like a
yeah.
fucking
He's a berserker.
Maniac.
He's a force of
basically.
nature.
but
Yeah.
and like it's just like there's no getting. But then there's no getting away from any of them because the juggernaut comes at you full. I mean, maybe not as fast. That's the problem. But they're
Yeah.
all coming at you, and none of them are relenting, no matter which one.
Yeah.
Can we
But
all
the
admit, though,
cowboy
that
kid just stares at you.
the giant baby is the worst one? We can all admit that,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Mama
God.
and baby are the
But
grossest.
No.
of all.
it's such a cool look though. They're
You can
back-
smell
No.
them
That's what I'm saying.
through
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the worst
Smell
one.
them
I
through
think
the-
I was like, oh, I grew up with neighbors like that.
I mean, we have to pick, I guess, our favorite and worst, but I have already said mine. So
You want to know something fun about the guy who plays Big Baby? He plays
Sure.
the same character in Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let
Trick or
that
Treat?
steep. Yeah.
really?
Remember in the werewolf scene? There's a guy dressed up in a big baby diaper.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him. That's Big Baby.
Okay. I have to
That's
rewatch that.
amazing. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to next time I watch it, which is a lot.
Makes me wonder
every
about this
Halloween.
guy's regular life. And I'm not yucking your yum. I'm just saying it makes me ask questions.
If I was a betting man, I bet you it involves eating a lot of goop out of a bowl. Just throwing that out there. I will say this though too. The other thing to your point with the scripts. So after I watched this, I went because like I really like the ghost and like all that stuff. I went back and watched the original film, and then I read the book, and then when I rewatched the remake, I realized that with each script rate or script treatment, these assholes all thought, "Oh, I'm going to get real fancy," because there's all these weird callbacks to the movie and the book, but they're so mixed up and confusing that it's like, okay, and like they change characters all around, and then like one of the treatments divided one character into three people because in the book, in the original movie, the maid the Cyrus's girlfriend and Matthew Lillard were all the same person in the book. Like they divided that into three people, or divided like the three people. Like there's all this like weird stuff. Like and then like Cyrus was the character's main character's name in the book. It wasn't the uncle, and then he became the uncle, and then like it's like all this weird stuff. So like even people like that read the book or like the original is even a mess for them. Cause they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like there's no just simple like, oh, callback, or oh, it's just like this. Like I feel like I'm putting together a fucking shitty puzzle that once I get the jigsaw puzzle, please, just a fucking turd. I'm like, okay.
And you got to imagine from the third and fourth retreatment, and then especially when James Gunn gets a hold of it to do even more, they're probably at that point just has writers trying to one up each other. Like, okay, this is a hot mess, but I'm going to make it my hot mess.
Well, that's what
or
it
they're
feels
over
like.
it, Dave, and they're just like, okay, I'll add this, that, and the other here. I don't know what to do with this shit. Just
like,
here you go.
And like the callbacks aren't even like there's not, it doesn't even feel like there's a connection. It literally feels like with each person when they wrote a new script, they gave them the same shitty tablet paper, and they're like, here's just some basic plot points from the movie in the book if you want to call back and include them in there. And like we were like, I don't fucking know what's the context of this. No, fucking call Scott Cyrus, whatever.
One of my favorite moments, and it made me laugh because in the 2001 it probably was not on my radar at all, but I didn't know if it was my fever hallucinations or whatever, but I went back and confirmed it and laughed out loud again. But in that opening scene with the Juggernaut, when the secret cult group comes in and they're giant black SUVs with a literal cult logo on the side of the vehicle, I'm like, you're doing it great, guys. Yep. This is where you do secret
They
cults.
don't even cover up their ghost box. It's just fucking hanging off the back of that like dump truck. And they're like, just open the gate. Like, I'm like, if the fucking police drive past that, they'd be like, hey, what is that? Looks like a weird cage.
The police aren't coming here. Come on.
Dude.
It's a junkyard. Police aren't coming.
When they're driving to the junkyard, you know what I mean?
Have you driven through America? Have you seen what people are hauling?
I feel
no one's stopping that.
Normally
Rusty nails
I agree with you. I normally agree with you, but I feel like when you have a satanic panic, my friend, anything that seems devilish, they're fucking stopping somebody.
But hey, at least they folded that guy in half when he went into the car.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Like, it's like those are the things that keep this movie where you're just, I mean, that's the beginning. So no one knows how much shit is going to follow with crappy script. But like, at least it opens like that, because I love when movies just open like, you know what you're like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're folding bodies and putting them in trunks or front of cars or whatever.
The beginning of that movie opening, they literally basically, they're like, how do we get them to find the ghost? Someone was just like, I don't know, fucking chum the junkyard. They're spraying blood. They're like, that will attract it. In what fucking world? Just spray
in this
blood.
world, Eli, in 13 Ghost World, because if we're gonna start talking about how they get ghosts or why we need to pick Tony Shalhoub's family, it's like
because they love each other. Just
they're the only
people, being a mess.
There are only two people in this world that have love or whatever.
Yes,
it's just like,
and Tony Shalhoub is sad. You can't tell because he has no emotional range, but he's sad.
The plot the plot is thin and then complicated. And when I say complicated, I'm not trying to make it like it's complicated for all the reasons Dave said. The script fell apart, so it's complicated because it just does not make sense. Like there
complicated
are holes,
because why do we still like it? That's why it's complicated, because it's so bad. You're like, why is it so good? I don't like
exactly. So here's the thing: the reason it's so good is that, like what you said, is the ghost. And as I was watching it this time, I thought I was gonna have that moment where, even though I have a fucking shirt, I had that moment where I was gonna be like, oh fuck, like I don't know,
this?
But it's short enough, and they come so close to not putting enough ghost in, but they make it. It's like as if there is this line that they have to hit to put it in.
The Jamie meter.
They got there. They were like so close that I was just like, in the beginning, I was like, if they don't start soon, I don't remember how long this takes to get to a ghost. But if I don't see one soon, I'm gonna be very angry. And then you're like, if this ends too short, but they don't. The ghosts go, once they come, they're in it for the rest. They're in it till the end. When they're all standing there looking like.
I literally chuckle every time I watch this when they chum the fucking junkyard and they spray blood on the car walls, which I don't understand.
You don't know how the Juggernaut rolls.
He's like a shark.
I laugh out loud every time I see that. And then they have that blood truck connected to their cage truck, which doesn't make sense.
Uh-huh.
And then as soon as he walks out there, I'm like, ooh, here he is. I'm like, ooh.
I also feel like the Juggernaut and the
Hammer are the same?
yes, thank you,
Yeah,
Eli.
they are.
Like they really couldn't decide on another one. They had to make two guys that are so and they don't look similar, but they have the same. They are like this big hulking, slow person. Like they could have made the Juggernaut all of that. Like they could have put the screws in him and whatever,
but
and made him this, and then done another
if
cool
you
one. But they
read
ran out
the
of
backgrounds, they're actually very different.
I know, but I forgot the backgrounds. I'm just saying visually.
No, right. But like, no, to your point, like, but if you had more background into them,
oh yes, if we had
very different.
Yeah.
But we don't. Instead, they're just they're two hulking some bitches. You're like, okay.
I love the fucking torso too. I know I said it already, but when they first
that
show
was
it,
a real person,
when
he
it
was
comes
a real
to
double amputee. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they had a green hood on him to roto out his head.
Yeah. That's when they used to do real practical effects. Remember those days before everything looked like shit?
Do you know to give credit to one of the first Halloween Horror Nights I went to, they also used a double amputee to do a zombie for Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
It was so cool.
The Road also used an amputee for that scene with the one cannibal hobo.
I never saw that, but
The Road's good. I would recommend it.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, it's the book is darker in my opinion.
Yeah,
I know.
It's rough.
Yeah, I'll have a clear memory. It was 2019, and Mary was going through a rough time in her life, and she was looking for book recommendations from her. And I had just mentioned in the book community that we were part of together that I had just finished The Road again, and how rough it. And she was like, "You think I should read that?" And I'm like,
"No."
How you feeling, Mary? And she was explaining to me. I'm like, "No, you should not read The Road."
I remember that time because I also got the back half of that of said I shouldn't read it, but I mean it's not that bad. And I went, I wouldn't. I said, just don't. Well, what if I no. I was like,
Eli was thinking, what you found is a true friend.
Yeah.
And he's trying to help you.
I was like, what you need to do, I said, is wait. Just wait to touch it. I said, because I said when I read it, I had no warning. Yeah. And I was pretty young. And I had no warning. And someone's just like, "Oh, you like scary stuff?" Because they didn't read it. So they didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I read it and I still have a part of me missing.
Yeah. It breaks you
from that book. And then when I watched the movie, I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. It somehow took more from me.
Well, I'm so glad I've avoided that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something I recommend to anybody. But if somebody asks about it, I do literally ask, so how are you right now? That you're asking about The Road. Because there's
you have an overabundance of joy. Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, balance yourself out. But anyway, back to 13 Ghosts. One of the other things I wanted the only question I really had left, and again, we mentioned this at the top, and I think I called him Harry Castle. It's William Castle. Everybody knows him. He was the one who did the squirt gags and the rumbling chair gags and the stuff flying over your head gags. Well, the original 13 Ghosts, which was 1-3 Ghosts. Thank you very much, William. The gag there was that it was 3D, that he did have ghosts flying around over the top, but the glasses was the gag, and a lot of his movies were shot in 3D. In this movie, the ghost glasses is throughout the movie. It was a big part of the mechanics of the movie. But as I researched it, I found out that this movie, again, part of its production garbage fire, it was initially going to be released in 3D, which they totally scrapped, which would have made the whole glasses on and off thing make a whole lot more sense. And it would have been, I don't generally like 3D, but this movie I think would be really cool if you had some sort of effect of when the character on the screen put the glasses on and you have 3D glasses on, something happens to the scene. Like it blows out into 3D or there's something else happening. It could have been really cool.
Yeah, we talked about this with one of our other movies. Someone, if you know right off the top of your head, we had a conversation about 3, maybe Friday 13th 3, because we were talking about when 3D works and when it doesn't. And I think this is a kind of movie, Dave, to the point of we maybe had then, was that some movies work when they roll with the gimmick. Because this is when Eli told me that no Marvel movies were in 3D, and I told him every Marvel movie was in 3D, and we had that argument. But It's before True Seas, Eli. Okay, it was a long time ago, but we can let it go. But what I'm saying is, this 13 Ghosts could have been one of those. Like I said, I liked My Bloody Valentine in 3D. I laughed the whole time in the theater because they rolled with it and they used it at moments. And this is definitely a movie, Dave, that could have done a creative, like you just said, where like the glass is on and off, and then could have had. Could you imagine if the jackal was running at you for at least one scene?
Oh, yeah.
And it's in 3D.
Well, even just the sheer fact that the ghosts get clearer when you put them on, that just been like a kind of cool interactive, like, oh, I'm part of this. And like to your point, like
it could have been so cool.
Something's running towards the screen, and then you put your glass on and you can see the jackal clearly. You're like, oh shit. I don't even like 3D, but like that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. I could have had the Angry Princess's boobs in 3D. Like, come on. Like,
oh my God.
That would have been amazing.
What if she?
I really like her. She's really cool.
So do I. But what if she's actually Ramamume?
No, she's way better than Rama. She is
like
way more appealing than Ramamume. Okay,
I'm just saying.
This girl somehow is still hot, looking like a fucking literal bloody mess. Like corpse, she is. Like
I'm just saying.
I mean, they knew what they were doing. They were like
iron nipples.
They're like, how far can we push it? But that she's still hot because she's walking around naked.
Well, that's because there's something called. They reached equilibrium, right? They're like, okay, we're gonna have this part of the movie, and like that's gonna put us way out of equilibrium for like what you can get away with, like attractive and naked and whatever.
Yeah,
like how do we counteract that? And they went Tony Shalhoub, and they put him in the movie.
Well, and even for 2001 terms, yes, that was it gratuitous, of course, but it is interesting that her superpower, quote unquote, was never that she was seductive or anything. She was there to wreck fools. That's what she was there to do.
Yeah.
The fact that she was naked had nothing to do with the fact that she was going to murk some dudes.
Yep.
Yeah. With that fucking knife too that she had, like that original Michael Myers, like 19-inch fucking butcher knife that somehow went into a point of a sword and like sounds ridiculous, but you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like you know what I like about her design too is like, which at the time obviously you didn't have the Silent Hill movie, but like for someone who played the Silent Hill games, she looks like a Silent Hill character.
She does. You're right. And I love Silent Hill,
like that was always like because like
that twisted sexuality thing that's
right. Like it was like
the nurses. Yeah.
Like it was man. Right. Like her the way her like eyes look and stuff. Like I remember watching, I was like, holy shit! I was like, I look like Silent Hill.
Well,
that game scared the shit out of me.
Me too. Everybody, but to that point, so does the torso. The torso looks right out of there, also.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
The torso. That's maybe it. The other ones are a little like
I don't know,
razory. A little. I would say the hammer guy, whatever he is a little is a spin on like
torture guy.
Yeah, on Pinhead.
Yeah,
in a way.
Right.
Got the things all.
I would say even like the mother and the son, like they would probably be like Silent Hill. I could see them being one of the Silent Hill games. like especially like I don't know if you remember the first one when you were going into like the hospital and like there was that like those weird like bubbly things
bubbly things.
Like bubbly people or whatever they were. Like it's just kind of like they all look so cool. Like they just all look so cool. Except for Tony Shalhoub's wife.
Yeah,
she is. She's so bad. I forgot. She's actually the worst one.
Like, but she's an angel. But it's like she just looks like fucking an end of a cigarette. with her shitty hospital gown. And like, first off, you're fucking Ghost. Like, do you really need to drag around your IV stand? Like,
it is so weird. It's so dumb.
Like, if you want to have the line connected still, or like, say if it was even an oxygen tank she was dragging, okay, I'm with you. But your fucking IV stand, like you fucking nerd, like get out of here.
Why did all these other ghosts only, what I assume, like get cooler when they crossed over, and she just stayed the same and just turned into
womp.
Yeah. And like she was like, I love my wife so much. I'm like, why? Obviously, she's got the brains of a bag of peanuts. She can't, like, she's fucking dead. She don't need an IV no more. And like, obviously, she was in bed when she died. It's not like she died walking with her IV stand. Why does she have it? It's almost like the producer's like, man, how are people going to know that she was sick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll put her in a hospital gown, even though she's at home. They're like, oh, okay.
Too many questions.
There's something else we can do.
They're
like, some guy was like, oh no, fuck it, an IV stand. They were poorer than dirt, but sure, they had an IV stand in their house. Why not? Sure.
Fair enough.
This is your fault, Tony Shalhoub. I blame you. And we deserve answers.
Sure, he's crying.
Tony Shalhoub probably doesn't
We
even
do.
remember he was in this movie. It's like, what?
No.
Oh, yeah, that movie.
Sitting there
made-
lighting cigars with his monk money.
Yeah, I've spent that check. What else do you want to talk about? So I do have a couple of pieces of trivia that I thought were interesting. One I thought of John when I found it because I got kind of excited about it. But this movie, apparently, because of the way it was shot, and to your point, John, earlier about the lighting, this has a lot of strobe lighting in it, and apparently it goes down in history as one of the most seizure-inducing movies that came out in that.
Really?
period. Yeah.
Oh, in the
It's one of the
fast
movies.
cuts?
Yeah, it's one of the movies that caused the warning before
Mm-hmm.
movies because there's so much flashing and
I
quick
didn't even
cuts
notice
and-
that. I feel like I usually do. I didn't even notice that.
I remember people were especially angry because this was right after when Pokemon
Mhm.
was causing a
man.
bunch of seizures. And then like this fucking movie came out and people are like, Jesus Christ, I can't watch my kids show, can't watch a ghost show. Fucking having seizures over here. Thanks, Tony Shalhoub.
And then the last one I have, and this one's the one I thought of you, John, because obviously Cyrus has collected a lot of different pieces of furniture and arcane pieces of valuable information. But I don't know if you'll notice that in several of the scenes, there's a rack of swords. There's like this weapons rack that he has there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
One of the swords in the center of that is actually Duncan MacLeod's dragon blade from
Mhm.
Highlanders.
What?
When I realized that, because
Dude.
I love Highlander. I love the Highlander movies, even though they're all
Shocking.
shit. But like that, when I realized, I was like, oh my God, there can only be one.
Cyrus
And
is the
And
Highlander.
it's a ghost, non-ghost. Not anymore. It's Tony Shalhoub.
That's true.
The
That's why he went
shittiest
with
of
the
all
head
the
cut.
Highlanders. Why do you think the Highlander series died?
Anyway, I
Shalhoub.
thought that was a really funny universe crossover. What's that? The dragon blade. And I'm sure they just picked it up out of a props crate and threw it.
Exactly.
There's the freaking dragon blade right there in the middle of the
That-
katana rack.
That's pretty awesome.
Could have been a whole different ending of that movie if someone would have realized.
Yeah, if Christopher Lambert had come through and just knocked everybody's heads off and walked
No.
back out of frame.
But once
Didn't
again,
say
though,
anything. Didn't
what's kind
explain.
of crazy is like it's kind of cool because this dude was in the occult. It just sucks that he was so lame.
He wasn't great at being in the occult, though. It didn't seem like he
No.
had a lot of half-baked ideas about the stuff he was talking
I-
about.
He
Like,
did, but we also again didn't even get to know him, so I have
Exactly,
no
yeah.
idea how. Like, I know that his family sucked. I know that his girlfriend sucked. I know that
Mhm.
I know that his nephew's babysitter is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life,
Mhm. His
and she
nephew
gets
is the
paid to
worst.
do literally fucking nothing.
His nephew kids were the
nothing.
worst. His plan was the worst.
And just for the official record, Maggie and Kalina, the actors that played them, Shannon, Elizabeth, and Rodiga, they're like a year apart.
Oh, well, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't.
And let's not even go down the road to the fact of they're having to live in a one-bedroom apartment,
And they have a
they're-
nanny
and they have a full-time housekeeper nanny
who does nothing because she can't cook. She makes that very clear.
with 20 past due bills
Yeah.
taped to the wall.
Yeah.
But
Like, I
yeah.
don't even understand her character because, again, to my complaint in the beginning, she's not even a body count. So what is she there for?
Yeah.
Is she comic relief because she's not fucking funny? And it makes me so mad that she gets the last line of this movie. And I don't mean it like it's a good line. I mean, they have the audacity to end this movie on
With her.
comic relief of fucking her climbing through the house and doing a cliche like, I'm tired of this shit. I quit. Oh, she says, I quit. That's the
Yep.
fucking
Yeah.
last line of this movie. And it makes me so mad.
And like, and it was bad enough that these ghosts who spent the whole film trying to kill people, that once they're free, they just like, oh, look around. They're like,
Yeah, they
fuck
just-
it. And like, they
yeah.
walk out of the house and like, they're looking over, like, I think at one point the Juggernaut like, looks over his shoulder a bit like, well, should we, like, didn't we try to kill, like, we can kill
We
them.
can kill
It's
them
like,
now. Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah,
like,
it's- yeah, they're
"Let's
just sitting.
go
They're
home."
just sitting in the middle of a spiral thing or whatever.
Like, they
spinning
like
top.
walk through the fields, like,
do. I think the jackal's actually the last one to disappear. They give you like one last look. and they're like,
Jackal's the one that looks back, like
Oh,
thinks
that's
about
right.
it.
Jackal.
The
Okay.
Jackal will look back like, shouldn't we,
Yeah,
guys? We
Should
tried
it,
to.
guys?
No, we're just all going home. Okay.
Okay, see you next week. So, any
And,
other
like-
thoughts on 13 Ghosts?
Yeah.
Sorry, Eli, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say Tony Shalhoub can go to hell. That's my final thought.
That's your final thought.
Wow.
That's your
It-
Maggie
it's-
last words.
I think my last words, because I feel like, and I'm not trying to speak for Eli, but whatever I said, it's just, I don't know that there's another movie in my life that is kind of such garbage as far as a script. And I could say that I love the movie.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's an
unironically,
odd-
unapologetically.
yeah, it's such an odd thing because the movie itself, the script is terrible. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
But I will still go to bat and say, like, if someone says something, I'd be like, I was so excited we were doing this movie. Like, I was like, I fucking love that movie. I'm wearing a t-shirt of it. Like, I don't wear it ironically. I don't. It's
I watch this every October. Like, I watch this every October.
Yeah.
It's on like my list because, and like, which is weird because like, there's not fall, but I'm like, oh, culty stuff. That's like October. Give a fuck it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Get my fucking ghost out.
Yeah,
Yo.
you get to see the Jackal, Juggernaut,
Yeah.
and the whole crew.
Yeah.
It is unoffensive. It's a fun time, and the upside to Dave being on his deathbed with the flu. I'm overreacting, but it did affect my ability to concentrate. This was a perfect movie to do that with because when I finally realized, oh, I don't have to worry about trying to put a plot structure together or
No.
worry about
No.
character structure.
Absolutely not.
I can just enjoy the makeup, and then I had a
Exactly.
really good time.
Yeah. And you can do that with this movie because there's
Yeah.
nothing to follow. Because to the point earlier, and I've seen this movie a lot of times, and I'm embarrassed to say, I never in a million years heard that Cyrus purposely started the fight. Like, I knew he took the goat. I knew he went to the hospital to take her ghost or whatever. I never in a million years heard or caught that. But it might also go to the point, Dave, is how do you think I do normally watch this movie? I don't pay attention to any of it until the ghosts show up.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
None of
play
that
on
matters.
I play on my phone a lot, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Exactly.
this time I watch it. But yeah, like when
this time too,
Cyrus is
but-
doing his like grandstanding, it's implied like, oh, you think that fire started or those charge?
I really totally missed that. Because again, a human being was speaking, and I
Who
was
cares?
like, I don't care.
Okay,
It's
unless
not Matthew Lillard. He's already dead.
someone,
Okay.
a ghost is like stabbing you in the. Wait a minute. Now that you say that, Matthew Lillard became a ghost. Where the
He
fuck
did,
he
which
go?
is weird. Let's not
He
talk about that.
died in the house,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
when the other ones leave, he's like, well, fuck it, I can leave. But they're all going back, presumably.
But that's
So
where
where
he
they
died. So
died,
maybe he has to stay
Where's
there.
he going?
Maybe he has to stay at the house. Maybe
But-
that's where you all pick up the story.
And
So
also,
us in our
Yeah.
14th ghost
oh,
or
maybe.
whatever.
Also, if you have 900 people in your fucking shitty apartment, the ghosts are gone. Just stay there. Sorry,
By the
Is
way,
that
they're
everything the
now broke
family-
again.
Well, yeah, now they're broke, but they have bad memories there, Eli. Come on.
sell the fucking house then. I don't know.
True.
He's
Well,
like,
they should sell it, but
I'd be like, oh, I don't have to share a room. Oh my God, I don't even know whose side I can choose in that family because I hate them all so much. None of them, it's a win. Like none of them. You know what? They should have just burned down the house in it. That's what they should have done.
they should
The
have
house-
killed the
house
whole
burned down.
family, to be
Should've.
fair. But this
Yeah.
movie, so that's what happens. If someone takes it now, they probably do at least kill Tony Shalhoub's character. Like, you got to kill someone. You
Oh,
kill
I'm
one of
saying
the kids, you kill
Start
Tony
from
Shalhoub, you kill-
scratch, recast. Don't let Tony Shalhoub touch this fucking thing.
No, I know, but I'm saying that character, if you
Oh,
do
right.
something similar, I don't, they probably would change the whole thing. It would probably
Right,
just
they
be
should.
like siblings or something, and like it would be a whole
Oh,
different.
hey,
Yeah, in
As long-
2023, the only ones that win in your remake are the ghosts. Period.
Oh,
Everybody
my
else
God.
is there to get wrecked.
Yep, absolutely.
because like those ghosts aren't just gonna be like, oh, we're free now. Well, we'll let these ones live. Because like once again though, like if you watch their background stuff, they're like the Juggernaut hasn't let up like has killed every person he's come across in 50 years,
Yeah,
and he
they're
has a body
mean.
count of
They're mean.
hundreds.
They're
And,
mean.
like-
They're not. Yeah.
It's like, but this time they're just like, well, I mean,
Peaceful.
the fucking burnt chick's there, and like they're hugging and shit. Like, oh, we about to just go.
Maybe in what I like to imagine is they just set them free to go kill a ton of people.
Well, that's what happened.
What they
they're
were like,
all
they were
gonna-
like, who gives a fuck about this boring family? They suck anyway. Let's go start taking out our enemies and
you know,
our
well,
like.
you know, it's fucked up, right? So think about it. They've been locked up at this point for presumably, I think, a couple years. They've been working on that, right? So
I
all
assumed
these,
he was doing it for years over
so
time. I don't know
like,
how
you
long
think
it
about
took him.
these communities, and like their ghost went away, and they're like, oh, like this place used to be haunted. People died.
Jackal,
Now
I'm
it's
back.
Like, it's fine. And so then like you have all these people, right? Like they set up like a fucking Whole Foods in the fucking Juggernaut's junkyard. And then all of a sudden people just start dying in the Whole Foods, like, oh god damn it.
Getting thrown through the
We
front
thought we
window.
were past this.
I
Yeah, this
like,
asshole's back.
I really want a Jackal movie. I don't know what it is, but I want a Jackal movie so bad.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool movie. I'm telling you, we TM hashtag
Yeah, we're
Copyright.
TMing someone else's idea. I got it. Yeah,
Listen,
we've
not
done
the-
this before.
We are using artistic license
Okay.
to do an
Yeah.
artisanal remake
Artisanal.
remake
Wow.
of a beloved film. That's what we're
We're
doing.
just throwing all the words at it now.
Hey,
We
listen, the more words you put in there,
Sure.
the more original it sounds, and whatever. Like, they can't argue with it. Listen, they can't
Oh,
argue
boy.
with it.
All right. John, you've been very quiet. Are there any final thoughts or just like your piece, just enjoying the ride at this point?
I've lost all additional thoughts for this movie. I don't have the I guess the passion that Eli has for creating a 14-part movie series that
Listen,
One thing I'll
I'm-
say for Eli is he wears his heart on his sleeve.
hey,
Passionate man.
I mean, just beware of the interdimensional beings that are going to come after you.
First off, don't even joke about that. That's a real thing now. Okay, we don't even joke about it. It's a real thing now. Secondly, I mean, listen, at this point, can you all say that you wish I was any other way?
No, you are
Jamie,
you.
you
Of
say
course
that?
not. We love it.
No.
Listen, Jamie's my partner in crime. We're going to make a 14-part movie series. That's happening. We're doing that. Okay?
Okay,
We're
interesting.
doing it. Jamie's going to play
also-
every part.
And not only am I going to play a part, we are going to find a way to put every number in the title, Dave.
Every
just
one
for
of them.
you, from 1 to 13.
Everyone.
Even
know-
14 when we get there.
Oh, how are we going to do 14 part
See,
2?
now you're just being hateful.
Oh, yeah, 14.
Well, 13.
14.
Technically,
13 part 2, I
14 is
Yeah.
part 2 of 13.
Oh, we're going to get really creative. There's going to be a
Wow.
13, a 2, and a 14 in
13
there.
squared or something like that, Get real crazy.
God.
Put some fucking algebra in the title. They got to figure it out.
Well, as you can imagine, after seeing this movie, there are no critters in this movie. That's the one downfall. There's no critters. So there is no real Dave's Critter Corner this week. I did just find a fun fact to share with you all that I thought you would find interesting. But other than that, I think we've pretty much covered it. So my fun fact for you guys is the fact that traitors and double agents who are named moles, that's what they're called, moles, is because of the animal's behavior of being dubious, manipulative, underhanded, and sociopathic. The term that they had before that was shit asses, but that was changed to moles to fully communicate and articulate the true evil of their intent. So just a little fun fact.
Excellent.
When inevitably the aliens attack, Dave, and you're looking for a little help and guidance, hopefully I'm not too busy to answer my phone. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if that's the biggest problem I have, then
Like, I just want you three to know, because listen, the darkest of the night, when you're laying there trying to sleep, the back of your lizard brain prickles a little bit. You're like, what would I do if aliens attacked or come? Who would I call? I know that each of you, there's only one name popped up that for some reason I feel that he might know something. How dare you? How dare you?
If Dave's calling anyone for help, we are all been dead for months.
How dare you? That flu is karma. That's what that is.
Oh,
Reverse karma. It went back in time.
Did you literally do a plague on all your houses? Is that what you just did to me?
Listen, I can't say confirm or deny.
John, you know the plan. Just come down here. We'll set up the cave. We'll be fine. We'll throw a couple of camp chairs at the mouth and we'll watch it all burn to the ground.
Maybe. But if there are, maybe, but Tennessee also may be a hotbed. You don't know. You don't know because your friend that knows these things, he just made some shitty comments about the Mole Kingdom. So now you don't even know.
So shitty friend who has mole friends. Isn't that what you just said?
yes.
What are you following up this joyous tale on Campfire Tales with?
Oh, we are we're gonna talk about some fun little ghosties. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about some ghosties, but I don't want to.
Have we played a ghost game?
We have not, but we might be. We might be playing a little ghosty
a mustache
game.
right now? Is that what you're doing?
We might be playing a little ghosty game.
So next Monday, you have that to look forward to for your mid-September funness. And just as a extra teaser, we're so excited. We are just around the corner from year 2 of Camp Wicked Wild. We've got quite a theme kind of lined up for you. We're going to have special guests. We've got a little fun little piece of merch and some designs that we're going to be throwing up on the shop for October. So be looking for that. If you enjoyed the show, we certainly hope you did. We have a good time talking. We hope you enjoy it as well. Subscribe, rate the show, leave a comment for Jamie so she hears how great we're doing. So in your review, please leave a couple of comments. If you want to learn more about us, my hosts, or about the book reviews and other stuff that we've got going in the Wicked Wild, you can go to our website, thewickedwild.com. Got a lot of fun new things happening over there as well. If you want to follow us on social media, and I am never calling it X. I'm just going to throw that down the. It's Twitter. And on Twitter, while we decide to continue to be on there, is at Wicked While We Are. Slasher, which is the horror community, which Jamie joined this week. You can find us on there at Wicked While We Are as well. And then,
God damn it, now I'm gonna have to join, you sons of bitches.
There's not a ton going on. It's not a heavy lift. There's not a heavy lift going on over there. And then if you want to watch our video version of our reviews and our campfire tales, you can find us on YouTube, the Wicked Wild Podcast. Send in any questions that you might have, or any feedback, or any ideas you might have for recommendations. We are always up for that. To me at podcast, BODCAST at thewickedwild.com. Anything else going on, Eli? I know you've been doing some other stuff with your show. You've got some new plans going on with your show. What's going on over there?
We're dabbling. We're figuring stuff out. We're still a little secretive and figuring out some stuff. Stuff's happening. Things are, whatever. No, whatever. It's just nothing, whatever.
So you're keeping it secret, but I guarantee you there's a big logo on the side of your vehicle that tells everybody.
Listen, listen.
I am the Mole King.
Listen, all I'm saying is, right, what's the best way if you're trying to keep secret?
Tell
Put
everybody.
it out the open. Yeah, because then no one's gonna take it serious, right?
Is that the new alien strategy? Is that what they're doing?
Listen, that is different.
If you want hiding in plain sight.
If you want to see your Congress people more scared than when you tell them you're not opening your checkbook, watch that hearing, because I saw some faces that, one, did make me chuckle, but two, also was like, oh, well, that's concerning. That's concerning.
Well, while we still can, our recommendation to you is that you get out there and get lost. Might be a good time to do that, it sounds like, because it may be the only place you can find yourself.
Designated wood space, people. It's happening.